Well, how you doing? This is Bob from Makana Odyssey, and today I'm going to answer some questions. We do past life regression in our shop, and a lot of people ask me the same question: what happens to the souls that are really evil? That commit genocide, stuff of this sort, like Hitler will say, or Idi Amin, or somebody like that. They want to know whether or not they go to the same place. Well, let me say this. All souls go to the same place. However, and all souls are met with love in the beginning when they first arrive. But of course, if you are a soul that has committed genocide or been some super evil soul, you have to pay the price in easy terms. That doesn't mean you go to hell. What it means is that you're going to feel the pain and the suffering that you caused other people only 10 times as much. You're going to feel every drop of that pain that you inflicted. And you're going to stay like that for a while. You're going to move into different areas, but you're going to stay and you're going to feel this pain until you learn. Yeah, souls are not destroyed. They are energy and they're going to survive. However, for you to reincarnate, which we all have to reincarnate, but that's for another video I will tell you about, you have to be able to be worthy of that reincarnation. And many times, souls that are very evil, that were in charge, again, like we'll say Hitler, have this tremendous ego. And until that ego is, in a sense, is broken to where they understand and take responsibility for what they have done, because you believe it or not, a person might pass over to the other side and that soul still hasn't taken responsibility for what it has done. But until you do take that responsibility and honestly take that responsibility, you're going to suffer in a sense. Again, not hell. You're going to feel that pain and that anguish, and of course the fact that you cannot move from that spot, you're sort of trapped. Again, not hell, but sort of you're in your own personal hell in a sense. And then eventually, and sometimes it takes a very long time, what will happen is that you will be able to reincarnate again. And of course, if you should turn out to be the same type of monster, you go back and you do this again. The idea is that, we have to be able to evolve into enlightenment. And that is really why the soul is here. The soul is here to learn. This earth is like a school, according to many people, including Edgar Cayce. And Edgar Cayce's one of the ideas that I'm telling you now is from Edgar Cayce. That's how he sees things as well. It isn't a matter of just, you see, let me put it this way. When you die, for instance, your suffering is over in every single way. Because souls do not feel physical pain. You do. So say that you're having a terrible time dying and maybe you're being eaten by an alligator or something. The minute that soul starts to separate from the body, you feel good in every single way. You feel wonderful, you feel at peace, you feel that you have been lifted from this experience. So that's where that sort of love is. But then of course if you're evil, you have to pay the price. Now that is not for souls that are just nasty in some ways or just rotten. That is for souls that are really evil. Murderers as well, for that matter. Murderers also have to be able to pay a price for what they have done and see what they have done. It's the idea, again, of learning in every single way, emotionally, in every way, so that you understand. Because how could you be on a journey of peace and tranquility and enlightenment if you're going to make other people suffer? Now, many times, the obstacles that are in our way as a human are put there as a learning tool. So, and yes, sometimes you have to suffer what you have done before, but you have to suffer it. So you'd come back and you'd be, we'll say, into a situation that's very bad. You'd get into a family that's unloving and horrible in some way or another, because you're learning how that feels to have that emptiness inside, and that lack of love, and that feeling of being deserted. So many souls have to go through things like that. But the reason they're going through is because, again, it is a learning lesson, and sometimes it is something that you have done in the past life that you have to learn. See, Earth is like going to school. If you fail the grade that you're in, you have to redo it. You get left back. Now, many souls, I should say, don't even want to come to Earth in a sense, because Earth is pretty difficult. It can be. But they come. And the experience they get is magnificent. Sometimes you need to be born 1,000 times, according to Buddhism. Many times. Now, in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, it's a little bit different. The Tibetan Book of the Dead tells you that, again, you first die, you are met with love always, but then you're going to see all of these different demons and ghosts and stuff of this sort, but you have to understand they're not real. And if they're not real, you can just pass through with no trouble at all. But the mind and the soul's consciousness, I should say, has to understand and be aware. So that's why people need to prepare for something like death in some way or another. So you understand there's a difference between reality and non-reality. Those demons and those ghosts that they might see are non-reality. Many times what happens is the consciousness, brings back things from being in the body, from being in the human. And when they bring it back, they still have to be cleansed of that. But if you are very spiritual, truly believe, you are cleansed of that. Now, of course, there are people who I have met as well that said, I had a death experience, near-death experience, and I went to hell. They didn't go to hell. Again, not reality. What it is that's what's in the mind. That's what's in the consciousness. This is what is learned over the years about you do this, you do that, you're going to go to hell, you're going to burn. Hell is not a reality in any way at all. There is no hell. There really is not. There is love on the other side, pure love. Even the fact that you have to, in a sense, I'm going to say, put it in an easy way, to be punished for the things that you've done, that is still, love awaits you. Once you finish a little bit of that trial, you're going to be back. And you still love the whole time while you're going through it. But then you come back and you do it again. Now, to sum this up, there's also a mission that the soul is on. And many people also, customers and stuff of this sort, tell me that I don't want to come back here. I'm done. My own brother, for instance, my brother George, he used to say that all the time. I don't want to come back here. I don't want to live this life again. Well, again, this life is a learning experience, and that is what it is. And for the soul to be able to evolve into a higher plane, it has to have knowledge. If you do not reincarnate, you sort of stay at a level and you don't really graduate into the higher consciousness. You need to have schooling, in a sense. You need to go through life. And yes, you need to go through many trials, many tribulations. It's okay. Because in reality, it's the cyborg, they call it, which is the body that's going through that. It's not you. You are learning. You're there observing. The reason you're in this body is because your body is the eyes and ears of your consciousness and of the universe, in a sense. The physical eyes and ears of the universe. Because the universe, it is all-knowing, but it is not physical. So we, instead, we as humans, give the soul that human experience, so that this way they can learn Learn what the difference is. Learn love, learn compassion. Learn the different phases of physical life in every single way. That's what brings us to enlightenment. Of course, there are many different ways that people see this. Quickly, I will tell you that in the Christian Bible, for instance, they tell you die, and if you're bad, you go to hell. And I understand they say all these things. They're completely untrue, though. Now, in the Ethiopian Christian Bible, which is older than the Catholic Bible by far, they see things totally different on afterlife. They say there are 7 levels of heaven, not like Dante's Inferno, 7 levels of good. One is for learning, and you're improving, and you're going higher and higher. There are no winged angels. There is no God sitting on a throne. There's just beauty. You die and you go to these beautiful fields of, grass and mountains and stuff that is magnificent. Now, I do relate to in a sense. Now, they don't go into evil souls like we'll say Edgar Cayce and some of the others go into, but they do give you an idea of what happens. Now, in past life regressions that I have done myself, and of course that I have studied, many have said that if they had a past life experience, a near-death experience, I apologize, that's what they seen. They seen beautiful fields, they seen mountains, and just everything was beautiful. They were walking in this beautiful place. That is what the Ethiopian Bible says, and that is many people say that they see. So you have to make a decision on what you might feel. But if you study and you understand all these different things by studying, by talking to different people who are in this field, you'll get a good idea that death isn't so terrible. As a matter of fact, it's a very wonderful thing. Even though we don't want to go, it's still a wonderful thing. Of course, we want to stay here as long as we possibly can because we have loved ones that we love here and we want to be with them. But when a soul does go, try to remember that if that was a very sick person, somebody that's been suffering, you cannot feel so terrible that they're gone, because in reality they are home, they're happy. It's us as humans, because we don't have that total understanding here of what happens on the other side. So understand that and love that person, and understand that they're going to wake up on the other side quickly. It's like going from one chair to the next chair. If I should get up with this room, for instance, and go into the living room, that's what it's like dying. Again, what you see and what you feel is how you lived your life in many times, in many ways. So try to love and understand as well. Try to distance yourself from this crazy society that we're in, and by showing love and understanding. If you do that, when you do die, it's going to be much nicer for you when you first die. I love monks. Monks are magnificent. Monks understand that. They understand clearly. I spent a lot of time with monks over my lifetime, and they are magnificent people, and they have a beautiful understanding. They don't get involved in anything that's outside that area. They don't worry about money. They don't worry about the car, clothes, shoes. I had one monk which I attended seminars to says, if I need a pair of shoes, somebody brings me a pair. I just say I need shoes and I'll have a pair. They don't worry about the things that we, especially we in the Western world, think about. So anyway, that would be the thing I want to tell you first. I'm going to make other videos about it, about what happens when a person dies normally that is not a mass murderer. Okay, so namaste and blessed be. And remember, this is Bob from Makana Odyssey. And contact me. I would love to hear from you. Thank you.